And the question will be about the Qur'an, and specific the relationship of the Qur'an to depression, to sadness, to grief, and everything that comes under that category of sadness. And I want to unpack this a bit from the perspective of our deen. And it's very important for us to say and to acknowledge from the very start that as Muslims, our solutions to these problems are going to be unique because our belief system is so unique. We believe in something very different. And so it's very hard for us to relate this to someone who doesn't believe like we believe. We believe that everything good comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe that everything that will give us salvation in this life and in the next is found in some way grounded within this notion of tawheed, within this notion of the oneness of God. We believe that in the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is qudwatun hasana, is an excellent example in every single matter of our lives. And so the way we approach this question necessarily has to be different from the way that someone else approaches this question. So let's start with a rule. There is a difference between prevention and restoration. Prevention and restoration. Meaning something that protects one from falling into difficulty and something that cures you once you have fallen into difficulty. Prevention versus restoration. And we can say without a doubt that the Qur'an is a means of prevention from many of the hardships that come in our lives and the things that ail us in our lives. Many of them, the Qur'an is a prevention. And to not have the Qur'an in your heart is a source of sadness, is a source of emptiness, if you don't have the Qur'an in your heart. And we know this from the Prophet ﷺ. الَّذِي لَيْسَ فِي جَوْفِهِ شَيْءٌ مِّنَ الْقُرْآنِ كَالْبَيْتِ الْخَرَبِ. The Prophet ﷺ said, the one who doesn't have anything of the Qur'an in their heart is like a destroyed house. It's like a destroyed house. And so if you go to a destroyed house and you try to fix one wall or put up one stick, you're still dealing with a house that is destroyed. The Qur'an is the source of our collectiveness, of our togetherness in the first place. It's the first foundation of that. And so the Qur'an is a source of fulfillment. The Qur'an is a source of meaning. And certainly, much of what can cause sadness and emptiness is a lack of clarity and a lack of purpose. And the Qur'an gives a strong sense of clarity and a strong sense of purpose to us. A strong sense of fulfillment. And so at that level, the Qur'an is a foundation for meaning. And meaning is a foundation for happiness. Let's start with that. Then you go to the question of restoration. A cure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the Qur'an as shifa'un lima fi sudur, as a cure for that which is in the chests. So the Qur'an is a cure. Now, is the Qur'an a cure for a physical illness? If a person is physically sick, is the Qur'an part of a cure for that person? Yes. Reading Qur'an on a person, part of ruqya, it's part of a cure. The Prophet ﷺ even allowed for Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala anhu to read Surah Al-Fatiha upon a non-Muslim chief, and it cured him from a physical perspective. Now here's where it becomes a very important question as well. Because there's a difference between saying that the Qur'an is the cure, a cure, and being dismissive of other ways in which we also strengthen ourselves. Is it impermissible to take medicine while you read the Qur'an on yourself as you're physically curing yourself? No. So there's a difference between saying to someone that the Qur'an is a cure, read Qur'an on yourself, drink from this water, read the ruqya on yourself, and just do that and don't take any medicine, don't do anything else for your physical health, and dismissing the Qur'an altogether. The Qur'an is shifa'un lima fi sudur. The Qur'an is a cure for what is in the chest.